So we are live. What's up, guys? I hope you all can hear me. Hi, hi, hi. What's up? I hope you all can hear me. And if over here is there anyone, if there's anyone from the tribe, please share the link of this live on the group. What's up? What's up? I hope the audio is clear for everyone. Let's just get these quick checks done before we add John. Yep. So here we are.
So, man,
Hi, sir. How are you doing?
I'm blessed. Very well, thank you. How are yourself?
All good, sir. All good. Welcome to India, first of all.
Thank you very
This is
much.
literally this is literally how we can actually say, as of now, before we actually get to see you in face to face.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, how did the entire time of pandemic treated you?
Oh, amazing. For me, my story is a little bit different than most, right? So it's like when most people were struggling and most people were trying to figure out how to survive, my brand thrived like crazy. I went from, working a 60-hour physical labor job and was able to quit that job back in July to basically become my own boss. And I've basically been working for myself since July of last year, and it's just been amazing.
Yeah, so it's been so yeah. So Johnny Cakes as a brand, as a label started off in July, right? And in such a short time, I've seen like the response that you have got, and so many. I'm sure there must have been so many orders that must have been on your head throughout the time, like since day one, of course. So how was that whole experience for you to like come up with an independent label all by yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a journey. I think a lot of people don't realize how long I've been doing it for. I've been really designing shoes and posting a single photo on Instagram since 2014. So I haven't let a
Yeah.
day go by that I haven't posted on a single day since 2014. And I was just a designer, right? And then I just designed shoes, design shoes, design shoes, and over the years you build relationships with all these people within the industry by reaching out to them personally, or I used to be sponsored by SneakerCon, so I used to go all over the place to do SneakerCon events, and I got to meet a lot of people. And then, yeah, it really just came to the point where the two worlds kind of melded from me, like taking my designs and then putting them in the hands of the best shoemakers in the world, and then actually like creating tangible products. Right?
Yeah.
So it just, yeah, over time, over the last like 6 years, really starting in July, I started taking all my designs and making them tangible products, and that's really what changed.
Sure. So yeah, before we actually get into the questions that we have planned for you, everyone who is a part of this live session, everyone who has joined in, please drop in all your questions, everything that you probably want to ask him, because this is literally going to be like a very rare chance that you will actually get to connect with him. So yeah. Please drop in audio or questions, everything that you want to ask him. Drop everything in the comment section or in the questions bar, and yeah, we would love to answer as many. So yeah, let's begin with firstly the most important thing. How did you actually got into, in this whole world of designing sneakers to begin with?
Yeah,
And who was your inspiration?
that's so hard. So I've been collecting sneakers for about 20 years. I started
Okay.
collecting shoes back in the early 2000s, really when I was younger. Like my parents were buying me shoes, but I was obsessed with Allen Iverson. Growing up, he was like
Okay.
he's been my favorite basketball player since day one. He will always be my favorite player just based off the style, the swag that he brought to the
Yeah.
court, his shoes. Honestly, the Iverson 4 is one of my favorite shoes ever made, and I owned every single colorway. um, but going from there, just having a passion for sneakers, and then as I got older, I've always been in art, drawing sneakers, and I went to college for graphic design. So I
Okay.
learned all the Adobe suites like Photoshop, Illustrator, learned how to photo edit, and really in 2014, Instagram, I signed up for my Instagram account, and I started, seeing, it was so new, but you start seeing these niche pockets showing up. And for
True.
me, it was sneakers. So I started following all these sneaker accounts, started following all the sneaker, um, like the best sneaker photographers from back in the day. And I'm talking like way back, like the Perfect Pair and, all these guys that had just like amazing on feet shots. And then obviously 2015, 2016, 2017, I was massively collecting shoes. And then one day a shoe came out. I forgot which one it was. It was like I think it was a French NMD that Adidas
Okay.
had dropped. It was like a blue Ultra Boost mid. And I ended up taking that. And it was the first shoe I ever did a concept design on where I literally just changed the colorway, right? In
Okay.
Photoshop. I took the shoe, changed the colorway, and posted it on my Instagram. And everybody asked, yo, is that a sample? Like, where did that come from? Like, I've never seen it. And I just said, no, it was a digital render. I just thought that this colorway would have been better suited on this shoe. And then I realized that no one else in the space was doing it, right? Everybody, Instagram, and especially in sneakers, had become like, all right, what's the latest release? I got to either try to get it
Yeah.
early or get it on release date and then post on feeds and just beat that shoe for a straight week on my Instagram page. And then
Yeah.
next week I have to buy the next release and then the next release and then the next release. And it came, the sneaker industry kind of switched from being like true collectors and true passion driven individuals for like actually collecting the shoes to like a monetary value kind of situation, and like
True. True.
and just trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to keep up with media, and trying to
Yeah.
keep up content with your page. I realized really fast that I don't ever actually have to buy any more shoes to create content, right? I just
Yeah.
basically what I'll do is I'll find the best shoes on the internet or on Instagram, like the best shots possible. That'll make my feed look super clean. And then I'll just take their photos and then just digitally render them to be like my own concept. And to this day, no one really does that. There's a few people that do digital
Yeah.
concepts, but not at the level that I was doing it at, because most people when they do digital renders, they were doing it like just a side view of a shoe on a white background, and then they would edit it. I would take real life scenario situations like somebody wearing it on feet, and I would change it to looking
Sure.
like a shoe that Nike or Adidas were actually releasing. Um, and then that's really what started the whole concepts in the first place. It was just like, all right, I'm just going to take something that Nike did or Adidas did, and I'm just going to change it in my own way to a colorway that I think would be super dope and see however anybody feels about it. And then, God, fast forward, I had the unique opportunity to go out to Los Angeles and work for the shoe surgeon as his
Oh,
executive assistant, as well as run his social media. And so I really got to see the back end of the shoe making industry and like custom shoes in general, right? So as everybody knows, he's like the godfather of custom
for
sneakers.
sure.
So having the unique opportunity to actually move out, work like 18 hours a day, 80 hours, 90 hours, 120 hours a week under him, and really seeing like, sourcing, design, hand making, delivering to customers, dealing with clientele, dealing with celebrity clients, dealing with corporations and everything like that. And then doing it all independently of himself, right? And it just pushed me. I realized like it really wasn't that hard. You just had to put in the time. And
True.
after working with him, after putting in so many hours, obviously you get hungry to want to do it yourself.
Yep.
So I ended up taking my talents and um, kind of putting it in my own spin, right, and becoming my own boss. And then shit, come July, I just started hitting up every single shoemaker I've ever been friends with, and I was just like, dude, I know you could kill this project, and I would just give it to him, and then wait 2, 3, 4, however many months. I would never rush an artist. I'll never rush a creator. I just say, yo, here's the design that I have in mind. Let me send you a base shoe. You do your thing on it. Whenever it's done, as long as it matches up to the quality standards that I hold for myself
Sure.
and my brand, let's release it to the public. And it's just been remarkable. Since July, I think I've released 25 pairs of shoes. So
Yep.
different designs, all different silhouettes, and it's just rolling.
Yeah, I mean that's incredible. Like even to come up with concepts, because I'm sure like before you actually post a sneaker which is actually supposed to be sold out, I'm sure that you must be getting some samples in your hand and the ideas as to how it's gonna actually look on feet and everything. So
Yeah,
since July till date, so many ideas, so many concepts, and bringing them all to
yeah,
life. I mean like that's for sure amazing. And I'm sure like we actually have to uh, applaud, all your people who are working behind the lens as well. The
yes,
people who are actually, like managing the entire production process, or
yeah,
maybe your team, everyone, for
right.
sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they deserve the biggest slap on the back. I mean, honestly, without them, I'm still just a designer, right? So,
Yeah.
um, I mean, yeah, they are everything to me, and I make them, and I make them well aware of it. I very much appreciate every single maker that has either contacted me or I've contacted them. We've either worked together or we have future projects coming this year. I mean, without them, none of this would be possible.
For sure, for sure. So since you work with, so many designers and you've been in touch with so many other people, you've been in this industry for quite some time now. Who has been like your favorite designer, the sneaker designer in general? It can be anyone, like maybe from an independent space or maybe
Yeah.
who
No, I
has
mean,
designed a
I
silhouette.
yeah, I draw so much inspiration from so many different designers, right? Especially like Salehi Bunbury. Obviously he's doing his thing right now. He's absolutely crushing it. He's a
For
friend
sure.
of mine. Huge shout outs. He ended up picking up a pair of the Ben and Jerry's, but his design prowess and how he approaches projects and really tries to tell the story behind like not only like the concept, but then actually making it into a tangible product that tells a story without you having to go too deep into even guessing what it's about. I love that. Obviously, there's guys like Steven Smith, who I'm a huge fan of. I mean, he just crushes. He doesn't get as much credit as he deserves, right? He is the mind behind the Yeezy line, right? And he is this
For
guy
sure.
who's worked with every major brand from New Balance and Nike to Reebok to, I mean, everyone. I mean, amazing, amazing designer. And then
Yeah.
obviously the kids will relate to Jerry Lorenzo. Like Jerry is crushing it. I'm super excited to see what he does at Adidas. I've been just a huge fan of Fear of God and what he's been able to do as far as apparel space, period. I mean, he's my inspiration as far as when I do get into the apparel space. Um, Massive, but what he was able to do just with, developing his own lasts, getting a deal with
Yeah.
Nike, first of all, is a huge deal. But telling Nike straight up, I will not do this deal unless I can develop the shoe from scratch and then actually bring in my own Italian lasts and like get the form right. I mean that to me is just it's amazing because I would have almost the same stipulations where I would need to build something from scratch if I was to deal with anybody from a company.
For sure, for sure. So, someone just asked over here, have you worked with any of the big brands as yet?
Um, yeah, I've worked with Puma. Done a little bit with Reebok. I have a few different designs and player exclusives coming out for the NBA players later this year with Reebok.
Okay,
Um, but other than that, I mean Nike and Adidas, I've done like contracted stuff, but not necessarily like worked alongside the brand. It's more like
okay,
consulting.
okay. Sure, sure.
Yeah.
So, are those 350s? Yes, those are 350s. The one on your back, that's a custom by him. Yeah,
Yeah, those are
that's a 350.
Versace silk scarves made into a Yeezy 350.
Okay, perfect. So, as of now, around 25 silhouettes that you've designed, which one has been your favorite, and what's the story behind it actually?
They all have a special. a special part of my heart, but this one I'm gonna have to say is like my grail of grail, my favorite one that I've released, and why. So you guys, if you're in the sneaker industry, you understand what Concepts is. You know who Dion Points is, and if you don't, Dion Point is the creative director of Concepts. He's worked there for 20 years. They're responsible for the Lobster series, and I actually have the OG red pair right here for reference. So
Beautiful.
this is the red SBs, right? So the Lobster series is my favorite series, period. Especially from SBs. SB is amazing in storytelling, but pretty much I did a concept of this shoe on a Jordan 1 high. Within an hour, Dion Point DM'd me and said, I don't know what you need to make this shoe possible. My DMs have been flooded because he posted it on his story. And then like after he posted it on his story, people thought is that coming out? The backstory behind this, there's only 36 pairs of these in the world. And they were only for friends and family. Only friends and family. And then I think it was 12 pairs for executives at Nike, and then the rest were friends and family. Average list price for these, I think, is around $50,000 now for resale.
Okay.
So it
That's
was just a
huge.
grail. It was a unicorn shoe that I had never had. I was never going to have. I'd never even seen one in person. So when Dion hit me up specifically and said, I wasn't making shoes at this point. I was still just designing. And then he said, you need to make this shoe come to reality. So this shoe is what kicked off my company. This is the shoe that burned a fire under my ass and said, you need to go and do this now. I ended up partnering up with probably one of the best shoemakers in the world, which is C's MC. Shout him out. C's, one of the most amazing shoemakers as far as quality level. I mean, him and the shoe surgeon like this as far as like crazy
Sure.
quality. So this was about 5 months in the making, from sourcing the actual interior lining to making sure this is almost like the mesh netting that you would get catch lobsters in. We changed the
Okay.
tongue from a swoosh to an actual lobster, the logo on the inside. But
Logo, of
we ended up
course.
developing a screen for the scales, or the dots for the
Yeah.
shell of the lobster. But yeah, this means so much because it was like not only a guy who was so ingrained in sneaker culture, it just means so much, and then him personally reaching out saying you need to make it. We obviously made him a gifted pair. We sent it to him. He posted on his Instagram a few weeks ago, so shout out to Dion for that. But yeah, this shoe just means so much. Yeah, crazy, amazing on feet too. But the quality of the materials is absurd.
Yeah, I'm sure. And the detailing is amazing. I actually love the other ones also. I think it was the icy lobsters, I guess.
Oh yeah, the albinos. Yeah, so the
Yeah, the
albinos are actually in
albinos.
the works
Yeah.
now. My pair's in New York,
Okay.
so I don't actually have it here with me. But obviously, the second one in between those two was the green lobsters, right? So we did a green lobster on a
Yeah,
Jordan 1 high. So again, just when you talk about quality,
for sure.
second to none. Did pretty much the same material choicing, but I mean, the lobster series to me just has like a special point in my heart. But contrasts on these are crazy.
So we've received a couple of questions for the J Balvins and your design process, which we'll definitely answer in a minute. Um, but yeah, there's one more thing. On which design have you spent the max time yet?
Like the most amount of time on a project.
Yep.
I have a project that I've been working on. I have an NDA on it, but I've been working on it for like a year, and it probably won't come out until next year. It's
Okay.
with a sports franchise. That's pretty much all I can say. But
Okay.
it's been a long strenuous design process, going back and forth, making sure the logistics are proper, making sure we run it out properly. But most of my shoes, honestly, it all depends. Some shoes are like happen like this, and then some
Yeah.
like the yellow lobster, and like this one, for instance. This one took about 5 months, which was the Gray Cause SB Dunks.
Yeah.
This one, we ended up having to spend like almost, I think it was like $9,000 on an embossment plate for these hands, because we wanted to actually,
Oh,
because like when you rub your
beautiful.
hands across them, you can actually feel the hands, which is what we wanted. But this was also the first shoe that we did to develop an SB Dunk, right? So as you know, in the industry, everybody does Jordan 1s, right? Everybody does
For
Jordan 1s.
sure.
So people are put into this bubble where it's like, I have to do Jordan 1s because it's the only shoe that'll resell, right? Like it's the
Yeah.
only one you can charge like your money for and get your money back, right? There's not a whole lot of people lining up to buy like Air Maxes or like Shocks or like all these random silhouettes that like would be really sick to work on. It's just, is it worth us going out of pocket? Because we spend thousands of dollars on development before we ever release anything to anybody. So we have to tell ourselves, will this sell? And if it doesn't
True.
sell, you almost can't make it. I mean, you can make it for yourself as like a passion project, but that's what sucks for a lot of customizers out there. I'm trying to break the mold with that, where it's like if somebody's perfect at Air Max 1s, I'm gonna work with you on it,
Yeah.
and we'll do an Air Max 1, so on. But yeah, this one, sorry, I was getting a little off topic, but yeah, this one and this one probably took the most amount of time as far as like design iteration, bringing samples together, because I mean multiple samples for the shoe. I mean so many samples, but yeah, 5-6 months probably for
Sure.
both of those.
So, yeah, just the way you were talking about Air Jordan 1s, definitely. Like I had this question in place because most of these customizers or designers also in general, they usually tend to customize or even do like those sort of layover designing on either Air Force Ones or the Air Jordan 1s,
Hmm.
right? Uh, so what do you actually have to say to all these people, or maybe just a tip for them, like if they want to like probably explore more opportunities? Because I feel that's just one threshold that everyone feels, and also I feel it's more sort of a comfort zone for everyone because it's like a tried and tested canvas for everyone,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, what do you have to say for all these people, like whether they should experiment or what all should they actually consider while they actually plan a custom or a design?
For sure. I think it's for the passion guys. I think if you're trying to make it a business, like sticking with a Jordan 1 is your best bet, right? Because no matter what, there's such an affinity for Jordan 1s. Like you can put any design on a Jordan 1 and most likely it's going to sell. Um, I don't know. There's just so many people out there that have niche collections, right? There's people that just collect Sakai's now. There's people that just collect Air
Yeah,
Max 1s. There's people that just collect Air Max 90s. I am a true sneaker lover, right? I love sneakers. I've been collecting them my whole life. I just see a silhouette that I love, and I'm like, yo, let me see how I can elevate that in some way. I don't have a barrier on what I can and cannot create now because I don't know. Me personally, I feel like the risk is worth it a lot of times, but um, there's a cost to all of this, and that's what hinders a lot of people because most people can't afford to go $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 out of pocket to create a sample and then not get any sales. The biggest issue right now in custom sneakers is like the cost is so great for the makers, but the customers don't see it, right? They
true.
see Jordan Brand releasing shoes for 120, $200. They don't realize they're creating 50,000 to 100,000 units of those, right? At a very low manual cost or labor cost and material cost because the materials are trash. I mean, if you compare them to what we're using, they're using very
Yeah.
generic plastic rubbers and things that are going to just break down over time. We're using extremely high Italian leathers, suedes, gators, pythons. Our shoes are going to last a long, long, long time. It's just it's a money thing. It comes down to money, finances, and experimenting. If you're running a business, it's hard to just create a product that you have a feeling like no one's going to buy. It's like almost having a restaurant and you putting like duck liver on the menu and being like, God, I hope somebody buys it. We just bought 20 pounds of it over here. We need to get rid of it. It's so people like to stick with the designs that they know for a fact are just going to sell. Like for me, obviously taking advantage of the dunks was a huge opportunity because dunks right now are, I mean, even the standard ones, you know, the Parises are going for
Yeah.
100K. The Yellow Lobsters are going for 50K. The Iron Mans are going for 150,000. So it's like when you start seeing the markup on these SBs, I'm like, yo, let me get this to you for like, I think we released this for 28.50 or something like that. Sold out, crazy. Did like 25 pairs of these. It was nuts. But it's like
Yeah.
if you're willing to spend $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 on a standard Jordan or Nike, like you almost might want to just start getting handmade shoes by customizers because the quality is nuts. And they're gonna
Definitely.
last forever.
And also at the same time, I personally feel like custom shoes would always be more exclusive than anything that's been dropped by a brand,
Hmm. Well,
Sure.
so this is something that I have in the works, but we're in the works of creating a secondary marketplace for custom
Okay.
sneakers. In particular, we're starting with my brand first. But what we're going to do is we're developing a website where you're going to be able to, it's almost like a StockX and a GOAT, where you're going to be basically able to buy, sell, and trade used, new, and custom shoes, right?
Okay.
Never been done, right? StockX, you only do dead stock shoes and you can only sell or buy, right? We're going to have the option to buy, sell, or trade any shoe, whether it's used, new, or a custom. Creating a secondary marketplace where we're basically, you're going to be able to take my shoe, put it in front of your camera, and then it'll open up to a website where it says this is number 3 of 10 of the Yellow Lobsters dropped by Johnny's Kicks, right? So we want to create a
Okay.
secondary marketplace where it's like, let's say you do buy one of our customs. In 5 years, it will probably have a resale value, right? Or a year from now, depending on how
Yeah,
limited it is. But we're going to create a market for secondary marketplaces for customs. I mean, I don't know why it hasn't been done yet, but I mean, all of our shoes, I'm never going to produce any more than 25 pairs of a single release ever.
for sure.
So,
For sure. Yeah, that's a great idea. And I guess this is where people are getting to hear this for the first time, right?
mhm. This is the first news, yeah, for sure. It's in
Yeah,
development. Hopefully, it'll be coming this year. But
sure.
very, very excited about the project.
Sure. So again, Sean just asked, has Nike ever come up to you for making these sneakers, whatever you're designing?
Not to me yet. So I've been reached out
Okay.
to by a lot of the designers at Nike and executives at
Okay.
Nike, but I haven't been confronted to do a specific colorway. I know the shoe surgeon, working for the shoe surgeon, they Nike definitely does hire customizers to do projects that they can't necessarily be associated with, right? So it's like if they want to, for instance, one of my last projects with the shoe surgeon was the 18 karat gold LeBron 16, I believe it was, where we made it
Okay.
100% out of gold. But Nike commissioned that project for $100,000. So it was like
Okay.
they were like, we need to make this shoe to commemorate LeBron's 30,000 points. We want to make it out of solid gold. Go through the design process. We'll cut the check. They're obviously not allowed to be associated with it because of exotics and all this other stuff within the brand. But yeah, companies like Adidas, like Nike, they reach out to customizers like me or the shoe surgeon to do special makeups or special player exclusives for their brands. Um, it's coming. It's coming. I have a feeling it's coming very soon, based off of the people at Nike that I've talked to.
For sure, for sure. So yeah, as someone who has an independent label, uh, how do you think, like, how should people who actually want to get into this world of designing sneakers, how should they actually start up their journey with?
Man, it's so hard to answer
Obviously,
that question.
obviously, like for everyone, it's subjective, and like
Yeah,
as to how they actually get into it. Like maybe they can just be like sneaker lovers, or maybe they just love designing some stuff. Because
yeah,
I've seen like a couple of architects getting into it just because they love designing. And
yeah.
I think, Tinker is a great example of it. Tinker was
Amazing.
actually an architect. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but something that you probably have learned through your experiences and potentially is like one of the ways to get into it.
yeah. I think it's just starting. I think so many people they look at the whole picture and they get so caught up on how long it's going to take to get there that they don't ever actually start. For me, it's just like, you just gotta start. I think reaching out to people that are in the industry that have a lot of knowledge. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's hard to get knowledge out of these guys because, I mean, again, time is money. And so when somebody's asking for in-depth details on how to get into stuff, it's very hard to take time, especially, I mean, owning your own brand, you realize how much time you put into making your own brand. So trying to help, but it's really just, there's so many resources out there now. Like my buddy SD Custom Sneakers, who I just did the Balvin's with, right? Raymar Footwear.
Yep.
He's a teacher. He's got a school, but he also uploads tutorials on a YouTube channel, right? So he shows you step by step for free, right? Like the shoe surgeon, he just released his online class, but there's guys out there like Air 32 is another one, at Air 32 on Instagram. He did the coronavirus dunks. A good friend of mine, but he has a Discord with over, I think, 500 members where all they do are just up and coming shoe enthusiasts that want to learn how to make shoes, right? And so
Sure.
there's now opportunity out there for you to, like, if you love designing shoes and you, like, let's say just draw on a sketch pad, like, you now have the ability to reach out to different companies like Opera Tannery or District Leathers and all these different leather houses that are on Instagram. You can order materials through them. You can go to a guy like SD Custom Sneakers website. He has all the tooling from, you know, the toe puffs to the inner linings to the lasting to the clamps, all the tools that you would ever need to actually make a shoe, right? So yeah, now, like 5 years ago, there was no information ever. Like there was no one was willing to help you unless you went to like an old school cobbler and asked them to help. But even them,
Yep.
they don't want to give that information away for free, right? So now there's a lot of guys out there that are really about the culture and really about just teaching and allowing people to get on their level, because competition to me, I think, just drives greatness. So
True.
the more people that are in the space, it's better for us. But if I was to say, how do you get started? Reaching out to those who you really look up to, because that's all I did. I've lived in people's DMs, and honestly, the people that I've been able to connect with and be friends with and work on projects with, I would have never thought possible, but it was because I reached out to them and truly showed them appreciation for what they do. And, you know, it's just coming together. But yeah, I think just starting and then reaching out to those within the industry to get as much information. But I don't know, with the internet, as you know, it's like all the information is
For
at your
sure.
fingertips. You just need to search for it and then really
For
work for it.
For sure, for sure. So yes, a lot of people have asked this, and this is something that I also wanted to know. What's actually your design process when you actually have to create a sneaker? So what's your design process, and how does that follow your production process? Because I'm sure, like for each and every design, there would be a different way you go about from a production perspective.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. That's a great question. God, it's so different for every single thing. So recently, it's been exciting because a lot of these up and coming shoemakers, they'll actually DM me and say, "I have an amazing idea that I've wanted to get done, but I haven't had the legs or like the eyes on my page enough to like actually want to do it. So let's do it."
Yeah,
So some of these guys are actually coming up with designs of their own and we're creating. For my own design, a lot of the time it's just me waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning because I randomly thought of an idea, and I immediately get up, get on my laptop, and just start color blocking it and putting it together. Um, you know, sometimes I'll just be in a random conversation and somebody say one word, and all of a sudden, or I'll see one image of something, and I'll be like, "Oh my god, that would be so sick on a shoe." I gotta write it down in my notepad, and my notepad has a running list of I think 100 and it's got to be over 150 concepts that I haven't even done yet, right? I just have this, like, if I come up with an idea, I'm like, yo, I don't want to lose this, and I just type it in, and then when I have
yeah,
time, I'll be like, all right, you know what? These 10 projects are in the works right now. Let me start working on, 6 months from now, and then start working on
yeah,
designs, and then at that point, once the design is done or I'm happy with it, then I just figure out, all right, what maker would bang this out the best, or who do I really want to work with on this project that'll just crush it, and I'll reach out, and 100% of the time they're just like, yo, let's run it, and it works, and most of the time
yeah,
we don't really need to change anything, which is exciting. It's just because these guys, all they do is make shoes, right? So like they have
yeah.
that down pat, they have the production down pat, they know what they're doing. So for me, they're just like, shit, you're doing my job. You're doing me good. I don't have to design anything. I don't have to figure out what the paneling is. I don't have to figure out the materials. I just need to source the materials. I send them a base shoe, and then they just put it together. And then once it's done, samples, we shoot it, do all the production for it, and then the marketing for it, and then we release it to you guys. And then every shoe is made by order.
Great. So, yeah, before we actually move ahead, a big shout out to Evan. We have Evan over here. I'm sure you
Oh,
have a lot to talk about him.
Evan's amazing. Evan is he reminds me so much of myself, right? Evan is an amazing artist, but he's driven strictly by art. And he's got it's just like amazing to see somebody so young, like so
Yeah,
driven, but like following their passion. And like I keep telling him every day, I mean, I will support that kid forever. I mean, yeah, I want to support young artists any way I can, and he's one of those ones that I see a lot of my past self in, and I see where he's gonna go, and he's gonna be a force to be reckoned with.
for sure, for sure. And Evan, yeah, personally, like me also, I love your designs. I love like whatever I've seen through Instagram, through all these platforms. I've loved your work. And again, if given a chance, we would love to host you. Just do let us know if we can, if that's possible. So yeah, moving forward, how big of a team do you actually have as of now?
One person. So I'm
Just
myself,
you?
right? So I'm doing all of this myself, but I have to thank all of the makers behind me, right? So, but social media, answering DMs, customer service, running my own website, running my own LLC, doing all the designs, all the communications, all the interviews, um, all of it's me. It's all me. I don't have anybody helping. And that's what gets overwhelming. You know, I am working, 14, 15-hour days. So eventually, yes, I will be hiring probably an intern, probably at the mid 2021. Still trying to figure
Okay.
that out. But if I can bring somebody in, for sure. Definitely need a videographer because I'm going to start like actually documenting all of this for a potential pilot for Netflix, which is huge.
For sure.
But as of right now, it's just me and then all of my makers.
Great, great, great. So yeah, I think we have discussed a lot of stuff, but I think we actually have to address something that a lot of people have asked, and something that I also wanted to know. A little
Mhm.
bit controversial, but what do you think about whatever happened between Nike and Warren Lotas?
Okay. Yeah, I saw that
So this
question.
is this is where we actually want your perspective to it.
No, I mean, and I've been asked by multiple people, and I'm glad to answer it. As a business, 100%, dude crushed it, right? $8 million in a month, crazy. From a guy who's not part of sneaker culture, I have to give it to him in the way where he doesn't really understand the passion of the guys that were in the industry, right? He said he was an outside source coming into the sneaker industry. He saw a way to make a money, and he did it. And I can't really fault him because the lawsuit came from him partnering up with Jeff Staples, who, of
Yeah,
all people, he is a staple for Nike. I mean, he is like a
yeah,
face of Nike at this point, right? So, the fact that he got a co-sign from Jeff Staples, I mean, I don't fault Warren Lotus for anything, right? It's like he took an opportunity as a business person and he ran with it. And honestly, what's coming out of it is good and bad, right? So the bad part is all of us real shoemakers and customizers are our manufacturing and our pricings come into question. Why are you charging $3,000 for your shoes when he's charging 300?
true.
They don't realize that where he was getting the shoes. And this is the thing is what I got frustrated with is he basically just hired a factory out in China and just had everything made the same way they always make all their replica shoes, but just changed,
The
some
logo.
aspects on it, very, very small
Yeah,
aspects on it. And the quality's not, it wasn't, you know, wasn't the greatest, right? So, but again, as a learning experience, as a business, amazing. As a sneaker culture, as a guy who has fought for years to try to get customized shoes and bespoke shoes taken seriously within the industry, yeah, it was a big step back. But I don't know. It's a love hate kind of scenario. Like I appreciate what he did for business, but for the culture, it was like, damn. But I understand if he wasn't fully aware of like the scenario because that's the only thing for me is like me and my guys we put so much time and effort and energy into making shoes and then them saying like why are you charging more than $300. It's like you really don't understand. like he was
yeah,
buying soles for $3. He was buying the upper materials for $5 and then he was charging you 300. Like the labor cost was maybe $10, $15. But all the power to him. I mean, it's not like we haven't talked in DMs. He hit me up probably, I don't want to say a month ago, potentially do a project together. So, like, there's no ill will towards Warren whatsoever. I mean, I think he crushed it as far as the business, but I mean, brand awareness. That was all
yeah,
marketing that he never had to pay for. So, I
yeah,
mean, if you
true.
think about how much people pay for marketing and budgeting
Yeah,
for marketing and getting news articles written about him, I mean, his business got tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for the media coverage for free.
for sure.
Well, now what he had to pay for Nike and how they settled outside of court is crazy. I don't know what the actual settlement terms were, but what the best part of the whole thing was for me is I don't know if you noticed, but 2 weeks ago Nike sued or is going after like 400 factories and like 600 Instagram
Yeah,
accounts for selling unauthorized fakes. I'm glad the new
yes,
CEO stepped in and is finally like cleaning out house a little bit because it was one of those scenarios. It's like, how are you going to come after Warren Lotus for doing quote unquote unauthorized authentic shoes,
Yeah.
but yet you're there. It's so crazy. Most people don't realize this, but the fake or unauthorized market is 3 times larger than the entirety of the shoe industry in
Yeah.
general. So if
True.
you take every single shoe company combined, the replica is 3 times the value of all sneakers combined. So the amount of people that are wearing fakes, and Nike doesn't do anything about it because the majority of it's Nike and Jordan brand, and they don't
Yeah.
do anything about it because obviously with rules of China, and that's where they're getting their manufacturing, and they won't expedite, any of their citizens. And it's like, let's be realistic. You brought your production over to China. You knew what was going to happen, and like I want them to step up because it's like, how are you gonna punish this like guy who's trying to be an entrepreneur and even getting a cosign from Jeff Staples, who is a guy
Yeah.
from your brand, and you're gonna go after him, but you're not gonna go after the tens of millions of pairs that are being produced weekly by these factories right down the street from your actual factories in Guangdong. So I'm like, it was cool to see them actually step up and finally like file a lawsuit against like replica factories and unauthorized factories
Yeah.
because I mean, if they're just going to let that happen, it made no sense for them to go after Warren, you know.
Yeah. True.
So
So this is just something that I had in my mind, and I just wanted to probably share my thoughts and
yeah,
have this conversation with you. Was the fact that Warren was again an independent artist, an independent person who just started up with this line of sneakers, which was really similar to what Nike was doing, but pretty much a similar thing happened back in the day when Babe Stars dropped,
mm-hmm,
and
yep,
that's when but of course, Vape was the brand. But that's when Nike, how they basically settled was they just took equity out of their brand,
yeah,
right? They just took some equity out of brand. So what do you think about that from a perspective wherein he was an independent person, that was a brand, he being independent, he had to go through all these lawsuits and everything, and over there they just had to like offer an equity, and that's pretty much about it. I'm
yeah.
sure there must have been a lot of to and fro happening back in the day as well,
Oh,
but
for sure.
not as much as hampering, from a personal perspective as to what we saw through all this media, during the Warren scenario.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think social media plays a lot to do with that, right? I think back then social media wasn't prevalent. If you think about like what certain athletes and celebrities were doing back in the 90s, like they would be just torn a new asshole today, right? Because it's all blasted on social media. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got a thought. So, you know, brands approach things 100% different now. And it's just like, if these media outlets, like all of these sneaker news outlets are making this a huge deal, then like, yeah, it's going to get on their radar and they're going to try to figure out something. I think with Babesta, it was such an established brand for so long that they were like, this can only benefit us, right? It's like, okay, we'll just take a little bit of equity. What he was doing, because again, like their products were actually good, right? That was the whole
Yeah,
problem with Warren. It was like he was cranking out so many pre-orders that he wasn't going to the factory. He wasn't looking at these shoes. He wasn't looking at production. Like me, I look at every shoe before it gets shipped out. I want to make sure every single shoe for quality is like perfect, right? I can't have a shoe that's got like paint stains or like or glue stains or any of this other stuff. Like I don't know. It's a morale thing, I guess. But I don't know. I think businesses just today they just have to deal with so much more stuff than they had to deal with like 10 or 15 years ago, especially with social media and everybody's
yeah,
opinions.
yeah. That does make sense. So yeah, before we move forward, because this is going to be in reference to what I'm going to ask you, I have to like quickly give a shout out to a couple of people who are doing some crazy stuff over here.
Yeah.
And I would also like you to maybe, potentially check them out. So one is definitely Pranav Nireshwalia. He's actually based out of Mumbai, and he does some amazing work on Converse. So what he
Okay.
basically does is he does layover designing on that. He takes
Hmm.
a base shoe. Of course, he can't like afford to have those losses and everything, but he just takes a base shoe and creates some beautiful, beautiful stuff out of that. And likewise, there are some other people because these are basically the people who I'm going to talk about are basically the people who changed the entire thing of customizing sneakers because people just used to tend to paint on them or maybe create an artwork on them, but these
Yeah.
people actually started designing it.
Yep.
Another one is definitely Nishant Fogart. He's also from Delhi. And there's one more guy who came up with this idea of having a brand made out of it. His name is Argdeep, and he comes up with his brand name is Make Sneaker India. So if anyone who doesn't know about this, please make sure you guys go check these people out. Now, my question to you is basically, obviously, considering India is, a developing market generally for sneakers,
Hmm.
and definitely customs and one-of-one concepts, everything of that sort is super, super niche. For the people who are actually getting into it and really, really good at their work, what should they actually do to get all these eyeballs, if not sales to begin with? Because at this point in time, it's like kind of really heavy for people, though of course social media is really accessible and everything. But what is it that they should push ahead to maybe get all those eyeballs and get their work at least acknowledged, if not appreciated?
That okay, so that's actually the biggest reason why I started my company, right? Is I have been in this industry for so long that I have so many eyes on my page. I think I just hit 150,000 followers the other week, and
Yeah,
so many of these customizers and shoemakers, they don't have an audience, and they
yeah,
can't. What I've learned is the hardest part about this industry is getting sales, right? Is actually getting a sale. You could create the most dope shoe in the world, and amazing quality, but either no one sees it or no one purchases it because there's
yeah,
not a name behind it, or they don't trust it, or I mean, there's just so many aspects, right? So for me, what I've noticed is my brand keeps building every single day from the people that ordered my shoes originally and are all getting them, and then they're all posting them on their pages. That, and then dealing with celebrities, right? So I've made shoes for celebrities. I've seeded shoes to celebrities. They've posted it on their media channels. They've showed their friends,
yeah,
and really that's what helps grow your brand is media. Getting, because I get reposted a lot by a lot of different sneaker blogs like Bleacher Report, Nice Kicks, Complex Sneakers, all these major news affiliates for sneakers. It's creating a dope project, having really good photography, like where they see it, like they're like, damn, I want to post that on my page because it'll give
yeah,
us good content, right? I think that's a big underlying thing for social media is like you need dope photography, you need great shots, or else people are just going to pass right through it, right? That's why I do a lot of detailed shots. That's why I do a lot of clean studio shots and stuff like that. It just draws the attention. But yeah, I think if you have a budget for marketing, I've never spent a single dollar on marketing, which I'm very proud of. But if you really are trying to get yourself out there, I think obviously paying some kind of a marketing budget or putting a marketing budget together for a PR firm to like actually like promote you, but your biggest thing is honestly like celebrities. Sometimes you do got to go out of pocket. Like for Jay, for instance, for the Balvins, like we made 35 samples for that shoe and we gifted it to him. Well,
yeah,
that was the one person. There's certain people out there. It's like, oh, I have to. First of all, he hit me up and was like, "You need to make that shoe," just like Dion did for the Yellow Lobsters. But I
yeah,
was like, "All right, dude, this is a guy that it's based off of his design. It's based off of his shoe. I'm paying homage to him, so I'm gonna gift it." And he'll be posting it hopefully in the next couple of days. So when he posts it, obviously that'll be huge for sales and
for
marketing.
sure. For sure. So yeah, since you're talking about J Balvin's only, what was that whole experience about? Like having to work with and work actually for the guy himself and creating a sneaker wherein you pretty much, brought so many silhouettes together. The idea and the design perspective was from, of course, the Jordan 1 J Balvin's and the silhouette from the Sakai's. What was that whole experience all about?
Oh, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, this is connections, right? So, I don't know if you guys seen or know about Yankee Kicks. I'm sure you have at some point.
Yeah.
He's basically the sample king, the early look king. Very good friend of mine. Very good friend of mine, and he has a lot of connections. He was the one who actually connected me with Jay. He actually was the one who hooked me up with these. So, huge shout out to you for these from the Medellin drop down in Colombia. But he pretty much connected with Jay, and he was down in Medellin for the release of the Balvins, and then he ended up showing him a pair of my lobsters. Appreciated them, and I said, and he ended up checking out my page, and when he ended up checking out my page, he gave me a follow, and then he DM'd me like the next day and said, "Yo, those the Balvin Sakai's you just did are crazy. You need to make those. Like, I need those. How much are they?" was just going back and forth, because no one does Sakai's besides myself. No one does Sakai's. So for me, I was like, all right, I need to figure out how to make this. A buddy of mine, Ray Mar Footwear, DM me the next day. It was so funny because I was reaching out to all these people trying to figure out who would want to do it, or who could do it, who could go through development. Ray said, yo, I want this. I want this project. And I was like, dude, let's get it, right? We ended up ordering the base shoes for it and started working on samples immediately. We figured out what the materials were, so we ended up using the same canvas as the Balvin Jordan 1s. We ended up using the same Velcro. We ended up making our own patches. We tried to make it just as close to this release as possible. Went through like 35 different samples, trying to figure out, because the canvas is so hard to work on, especially if you're trying to last it. Like pulling this, it might stretch it or cut it or anything like that. So
Yeah.
we had to do so many samples to make sure that the gradient was sitting properly on the shoe, like which direction it was going in. It was a long process. It was like we created a sample probably every day for 30 days. It was absurd. We were cranking out a lot, and then we eventually got to the point where we were happy with it. And then I don't know if you saw the box we did for it as well, but my buddy Moon
Yeah.
Dot Studios been absolutely crushing the
Beautiful.
boxes. He ended up making that for fun, really, for his own like sanity, or just to like make it. And then when I saw the progress video, I was like, dude, if you're making that, like I'm gifting him these Sakai's here in like a couple of weeks. So if you finish it, let's just put it in your box and then just gift it to him. And obviously he got it and loved it. Amazing product. Jay was super excited about him. But yeah, it's just exciting to see the people appreciating the designs that we're putting out and then wanting them to get done. And then it's just up to me to make sure that it gets done. That's the hardest part, is making sure you can actually get it done, right? Yeah, everybody has these ideas, but it's like, all right, how do I implement it? How do I make it? How do I turn it to tangible product? And that's where I come in. I just need to find the best in the industry and get it done.
Yeah. Because that was a beautiful shoe, hands down. And I'm sure like that probably brought in the attention of a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. My DMs, I still haven't been able to answer all my direct messages. This past week has just been absolutely absurd. But it's been amazing. And that's the thing, is he hasn't even posted them yet, which is great. He's
Yeah,
posted on his story a few times, but I think he's going to be posting on his actual feed in the next couple of days, hopefully.
sure.
I don't know if
Sure.
it's going to be those or if it's going to be the Balvin SB Dunks that we did.
SB Dunks. Oh, that's a beautiful shoe. I think you posted it about yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a beautiful looking shoe.
That was actually, again, that was to just commemorate his Caloris album. So, it was the Takashi Murakami cover art for his Caloris album.
Yeah.
We wanted to do something special. The swooshes are actually removable with Velcro, so
Okay.
you can actually change out all the swooshes. That one was a very, very fun project too.
Sure. So I guess we've answered a lot of questions because most of them were about balance only. But according to you, which is the best silhouette that has been ever designed by that probably a brand has come up with? Like just the silhouette as a whole, and not talking about the SBs.
The Air Max 90s. Me
90s.
personally, I'm an Air Max lover. I love Air Maxes. The way that they fit on feet, the way that they look on foot.
Yep.
I mean, Air Max 90s, to me, it's like one of my favorite silhouettes ever. I mean, it's very slept on. Obviously, Europeans absolutely love their Air Maxes, but I mean, to me,
Yep.
Jordan 1s are dope, SBs are dope, but yeah, Air Max 90s from day one.
For sure. And I personally feel they are just way more comfortable than Jordan ones.
Yeah.
People might hate on me, but yeah, they're just way more comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, this just fits my foot too. I have wide feet, so for me, it's like
Okay.
Air Maxes. They're not super narrow, so they actually fit my foot like perfectly. But yeah, this one's amazing. I love this shoe.
Sure. So I personally have just last few questions left. So if anyone has any questions that they want to ask, please drop in all your questions, and let's see how many we can actually answer. But yeah, now talking more about your personal style statement. How do you usually style yourself up? Because I'm sure like you're just busy designing stuff, or you're just working constantly, or maybe
Yeah.
connecting with the production platforms, whatever. So how do you actually take care of your your day-to-day fits?
Oh my God, it's sweats and oversized shirts. So right now I got like the Fear of God basketball poncho on with some black sweats. Like I love
So just
oversized
the
shit. Like I
most
said,
comfortable stuff.
yeah, it's like my style. If I was to refer to it, is a mixture between Jerry Lorenzo Fear of God and Kanye West like sweats. Like
Oh,
that's pretty much what my style is. I'm very simple. I don't care about labels. I don't really care about branding. Um, Obviously, I'm getting more into the apparel space myself. I really, really want to do apparel drops with all of my shoes, but I want to do it in a way where I actually design the draping of the shirts because I'm a huge fan of Fear of God in general. Like the way that they drape, the oversized sleeves were like they're almost like the 3/4 sleeves, like oversized, just comfortable. So I'm getting into actually designing clothing, but I'm never going to release something too early. So it might be next year where I actually release like an actual line of clothing. But that's something I definitely want to get into. But it's just keep it simple, stupid. Just really comfortable,
yeah.
amazing fabrics.
I saw you post about, and I think you were talking about in some other live also, wherein you were actually asking if someone can actually help you with the production platform or something like that.
Yeah.
And it would just be way too much difficult for us to actually manage that. But we would have loved to host you for that because just from a region perspective, it might get a little difficult, but we are for sure down to help you guys out.
I appreciate that. I mean, that's the hardest part is finding a reliable source
Yeah,
that can crank out any product that I want, right? I want everything under one roof. I don't want to go and get sweats here or t-shirts
yeah,
over here, or I just want everything under one roof where it's just like, and then fulfilling orders, that's the biggest thing, right? I'm by myself, right? Even with my shoes, I mean, it's amazing to see 10, 15, 20 pairs sell at $3,000, right? If I released product that was at like $100 to $200, I'm sure the micro sales would be absurd. Um, I can't thank everybody enough for just like supporting the brand just in general. I mean, supporting what I'm doing. So, but I really, really want to get product in the hands of people that it's not a crazy price. Like I understand our shoes are high priced. They're that for a reason, but it's like if I can get apparel and accessories. I'm working on bags, purses, crossbodies, um, like a bunch of accessories that are like a lot more affordable for the masses.
sure, sure, sure. And what are your daily beaters like? What do you like tend to wear day to day?
Okay. So I'm gonna show you. So I love triple white shoes. Like I love. They just look good on my feet. So these have like been my daily beaters for probably a year and a half now, which are the off-white Euro, but all Python.
Euro exclusive, yeah.
So this was made for me by the Remade, my buddy Tommy.
Oh, okay, so this is
So
a custom.
yeah, so yeah, we ended up making this with just white Python. But I
Yeah,
wear these almost every single day for the last like probably year and a half. I beat those to living hell, and then this is like another pair. It's super beat, but it was another custom. It was friends and family gifted to me by the shoe surgeon. It was made for the soccer players that were sponsored by Adidas at the time, but it was a Derrick Rose bottom with the Team Mandala upper, and then we just ended up wrapping the toe box with Python.
yeah,
But simple,
yeah.
clean, but amazing shoe that I wear all the time. It's just like a beater. I don't know if you guys see the new Nice Kicks. I don't know if you saw the new Nice Kicks Ultra Boosts that are coming out. Did you see those ones, like the tie-dye ones with the black
Oh
40
yeah, yeah, yeah,
midsole?
yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah.
did it before everyone, right?
Ah,
So
amazing.
this was like my first custom. This was like my very first like foray into like the actual shoe custom game. So my buddy Govern, who is like the number one shoe soul swapper in the world, I sent him I sent him some 4D. I sent him my Nice Cases like, yo, go to town. He was able to actually keep the gum outsole, which is crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, a couple of years ahead, no big deal.
Okay, so someone just asked over here, like, or they were just asking generally that they actually want your store to be in place. What do you have to say for that? Can we see that anytime soon?
A store, like a tangible store?
Yeah. Yep.
Possibly. Possibly. I'm working on so many things with so many amazing people. Schools are coming. Schools are coming. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people have been asking. I'm going to be partnering up with some of the best shoemakers in the world, and we're going to do it together. Instead of like like a shoe surgeon, right? Where you go, you meet one guy. Like I want to connect
Yeah,
everybody with the best shoemakers in the world. And if we can do it as a team, I always say together we're strong. Um,
true.
and again, I want to give people an experience and a really hands-on experience where when you go into the school, you make like the best possible pair that you can make and really come out of the class with knowledge. I think that's the biggest thing, just knowledge to basically take it to the next level where you can go and create amazing shoes. And if we can motivate and inspire other makers to eventually maybe a year, 2, 3 years down the road, me and them create a release together. I mean, it's amazing. It's like a round wheel. But schools are coming, stores. God, I know a buddy of mine, my buddy Yankee. He's going to be opening a store here soon in Miami. I'm going to be a part in some way. I'm not sure exactly how deep, but yeah. Me personally, as a tangible store, I personally probably won't, but I'll be a part of multiple spots.
Sure, sure, sure. And just one last question from
Yeah,
me personally. Can we expect anything coming in for India exclusive?
possibly.
We
All I have
saw,
to
we
do is
saw,
the beautiful thing about it is all I have to do is think about something really and just sit down and design it, right? And then just get it
yeah,
into works. Again, I think I need to just connect with people like yourself who are in the space, who are in the country that have a great idea of what culture is like out there. For me,
yeah,
I haven't been out there, right? So I couldn't draw direct inspiration. And for me, it's all about storytelling and materials. I think with that, that's why I truly appreciate Nike SB for what they do as far as telling stories, material choices, everything, putting a story together, connecting with guys like yourself that have a really good idea of what people would actually resonate with. Um, Anything is possible, right? Whether it's a one of one
for sure.
for a specific
Yeah,
store, whether it's a one of one for you, whether it's a concept sample and then we actually do a release,
yeah.
whether it's linked with a store or a brand or your brand, um, anything's
We would
possible.
love to host that. I personally feel we would love to host that, and we would love to actually drop something of that sort coming in because I remember something very exclusive, not really exclusive, but something that actually dropped was from Adidas, which was the Holi drop. So Holi is basically a festival that we celebrate over here,
Oh,
and
right,
it's a festival of colors, right?
right.
So Adidas and Pharrell NMDs basically they dropped a collaboration, and it was an India exclusive collab. So yeah, that was one last collab that I remember was just something that was particularly made for India. So I'm sure
Right.
there's something that can be done.
I mean,
We can
you guys have.
definitely
I
have
mean,
chats over DMs.
yeah. I mean, you guys have amazing materials and colors. I think that's the biggest thing, right? I think the silks that you guys have. I mean, I don't know a lot, obviously, about the culture, but the materials that you guys have and the colors with the color blocking, you could design a really dope, like loud shoe, but like super
True.
classy, like super classy. I'm talking gold piping. I mean, I already am coming up with ideas and I haven't even sat on a computer, right? I think it's just, I love communicating with people that appreciate like just the story in and itself and people that have an idea, right? And if you have an idea, we can work together to really hone it in to make sure
For
everybody's happy.
sure.
Because for
For
me,
sure.
all of these collaborations are a team collab. It's like I'll come up with an idea and I will literally tell the maker, if you have any thoughts, ideas, please tell me thoughts. Let's work them out. I'm more than open to changing certain design aspects. And, once we both agree on something, it's just like, oh, let's
Yeah.
run it.
So India is basically a really, really diverse country, be it, from religions to demographies to, just the way we live life over here. So it's usually said that after every, around 10 to 15 odd kilometers, the food changes. And
Ah,
after every 50 odd kilometers, the language changes. So it's such a diverse country that we can actually come up with something which is inclusive for as many people.
yeah,
So yeah, definitely we can let's plan something around. And
yeah,
there's one more thing that's really interesting that a couple of people actually asked from India
yeah.
was can we actually host some sort of like a school sort of a thing for India? And maybe like I'm sure that like not really a school can be worked out, but maybe something like a workshop.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I think at that point it's just sourcing the machinery. and
Yep.
sourcing space, right? Obviously,
Yep.
having people in the ground in India, obviously setting up and coordinating how we would get sewing machines and materials and all that stuff into a space. But what I've viewed in life is anything is possible, right? I think if you,
Workshop as in like a teaching platform wherein you know you probably connect with people and you tell them like how the process goes like and stuff like
yeah.
that.
Well,
Maybe.
no, we're working on that. Whether it's with a major brand, we might be doing, correlated schools with a major brand, whether that's Nike or Jordan
Okay.
brand, where we're actually
Sure.
hired by the brand to teach certain classes. But yeah, I mean, I want to travel and teach as many people all over the world this skill set, right? I think there's so many people and there's different demographics all over the world that don't actually have the same grasp that other people have. Like in the U.S., I mean, you can go anywhere and find a school or find the materials and everything like that. It's
Yep.
just so readily available if you're looking for it, right? But it's like if we can go into other countries, that's why I want to go into what's the word I'm looking for? Lower ended communities in a way where it's like people that might not necessarily have the finances to ever even have thought of doing it have the opportunity to do it, to express their creativity, and then possibly create a job and a career field in their life based off of an experience that they might not have ever experienced in themselves. So I have just so many different grand ambitions about spreading like creativity and like shoemaking all over the world. It's just going to be timing, and really connecting with the right people to expedite everything.
Sure.
But if we have
Sure.
an idea,
That
we can do it.
definitely, definitely. I'm for sure going to hit you up on the DMs or maybe on the mails because I think DMs are more flooded as of now.
Yeah.
And they will stay flooded until and unless like the Balvin is work is done.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it's and I'll tell
rather
people,
it's
it's
only
hard.
gonna it's only gonna increase post Balvin actually posts about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing that's so crazy is, I got running projects. I got a project with Kevin Hart that I'm working on right now, which is
Oh yeah,
just absolutely crazy. I'm working with a couple of the Barcelona soccer players on some projects, working with a couple of different other people. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting to just see how many people from all over the world like appreciate what we're doing. And it's just, yo, let's connect. Let's connect. So obviously you have my email, which is probably a really easy
definitely.
way. That and DM, you're in my primary box, so it helps me find your DM a lot. It's like,
Thank you so much.
I mean, I love the primary and general box. I swear, like the
Yeah,
primary box
yeah,
saves my life a lot. So,
yeah,
um,
yeah. I get
but
that.
yeah, dude, I appreciate you having me on. I mean, period. Just I love having conversations with people that are like minded, and share the same passion.
Yeah, so this was like for it was really crazy for me to actually even literally before this life started, like my heart was beating so fast that I was like, I actually can't do this, honestly speaking. And this basically happens every time. I hosted Sir Joe Foster, and obviously he's like the founder of Reebok. He has his own legacy, and that was
Hmm.
basically our big first live. And after that, Kenzo Minami happened, and
Hmm.
he's just such a great artist. I just love his work. And now you, I'm just trying to bring in as many people and as many great
Yeah.
people to this platform and wherein we can actually connect through as many people possible. But it's always such like I'm always hesitant until unless it actually happens.
Right.
And now after it's done, you actually realize that how like-minded people can actually be across, you know, uh, across the platforms or wherever they actually stay. This because this is really the love that we share,
Yeah.
which is sneakers, and this is something that binds us all. So yeah, it was actually great having you, and this really means a lot, sir, actually having you over here. I'm
Yeah,
sure that
man.
everyone over here loved it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me. Like I said, I feel the same way, right? I think for a long time I would always get so nervous, going on or more anxious and excited than anything to join lives and talk to people that I love and I've looked up to their work forever. So yeah, I don't know. I appreciate it. I'm humbled by it, to be honest. I'm just a guy who loves sneakers. That my name is finally getting into space. But like I said, after 7 years, working, grinding every single day, designing a new shoe every single day for 7 years, it doesn't come overnight. I think, you know, if I could tell anybody anything, it's just like, yo, just keep grinding, believe in yourself, believe in your vision, believe in your path, and just keep grinding for it. Like, and don't let anybody deter you from doing what you truly believe in your heart you should be doing. I think when more people have that thought process, you see a lot more entrepreneurs and a lot of people being their own bosses and being very successful, because regardless, you're living, I mean, you're winning at life if you can become your own boss and do something that you love to do. Right. So, yeah, I just appreciate everyone that's even been in this live, who's watched, who's asked comments. I appreciate you for reaching out. It's as simple as that, right? It's just, you reached out to me, I reached back out. We started a communication, and now we'll have a relationship, right? We might be dropping a
Yeah,
project later in 2021 or maybe 2022. So, yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
So yeah, this is where you guys heard it first, guys. So something might be in pipeline with Sir himself, and there might be something coming in, hosted exclusively over here, and it's just gonna be real fun. I'm sure it's just gonna be crazy fun. So thank
I
you
think
so
that,
much
yeah,
for
that's
doing
the
this,
biggest
sir.
part. These processes are
Yeah,
all fun. That's what I love about it. It's like every day you get to connect with people that really just want the same thing, and we're all
yeah.
getting to do what we love to do every single day. I mean, I love it. The fact that I get to wake up and this is my job, I get to talk to people about sneakers. It's, like I said, I'm humbled and truly
Yeah.
appreciative.
And just for everyone, so basically today we had these UNC's drop, like the Jordan 1 UNC's drop happened, and a lot of people took L's. And likewise, there was like a store drop for the Blaze Orange Dunks high. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people took L's, majorly because, of course, it's like a more sort of an exclusive pair. So just get ready, guys, because this pair is gonna be the most exclusive one, whatever we actually gonna drop. So yeah.
Oh, crazy,
That's
crazy.
gonna be bigger. That's
Oh,
gonna be
dude,
bigger.
details on another level. I mean, detail.
For
And what's so
sure.
beautiful about it is we don't stop at just the shoe, right? I mean, it's the whole story. It's the insoles, it's the
Yeah.
shoelaces, it's the lace tips, it's the box,
Yeah.
it's the packaging, it's the dust bags. However how deep you want to go. I mean, it's like you can get real crazy. I mean, me and my buddy
And
Tommy
you never
definitely went crazy.
know. And you never know. Maybe apparel too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
That's what we have here, accessible as well.
Yeah, see.
Yeah. So yeah. Thank you so very much for doing this, sir. And I'm sure
Oh,
there's a lot more stuff that we can actually do together. And I'm sure I'm gonna reach out to you. And we're gonna have some great projects coming in through.
oh yeah, man.
So thank you.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm always here. I'm always here. Again, like I said, you can always message me. You can reach out anytime. Anybody in this live can reach out anytime. If I don't answer, obviously I'm super busy or I haven't seen your DM yet. My DMs are constantly sitting at 99 plus. I'm not, it's just, it's hard to get it down, but, I definitely need to hire somebody I think is a media manager, but, just to get to everyone. But, I appreciate everyone just for the support. I mean, I think I can't say it enough. I'll say it every single interview I go on. Success breeds success. I think together, as we work together, we'll all succeed, and just wishing everybody success in hoping that they can follow their dreams and their passions and get to live it every day.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty much what we all are trying to do over here. And yeah, that's I think there's nothing bigger than that, to actually live your life the way you want to live it. So yeah, thank you for doing this, sir. And this really means a lot again. And yeah, let's do some work together super soon. And
Yeah,
yeah,
man. I mean,
thank you.
if
Thank you
you,
so much.
yeah, yeah, just let me know, man. I mean, just if you want to get together with your team, if you want to think about a silhouette, if you want to think about potential colors, and then once you have like a broad idea, I'll come in, we'll hone it in, and then we'll get to work.
For sure, for sure.
So, all right, brother. Well,
So
shit. I know it's probably pretty late out there now, but
not really. It's around 10:15 at night. So yeah.
okay.
So
Start my day
great.
off.
Yeah. Hope you all enjoyed it. Everyone who has joined this live, hope you all enjoyed it. Hope this conversation could add a little bit of value in your lives. And again, thank you so very much, and have a great day, sir. I'm sure like there's a long day ahead for you. You
Yeah.
got to answer a
Yes,
lot
sir.
of DMs.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of
Yeah,
designing. Got a bunch of shoes I got to work on, but hey, can't complain. But yeah, we'll link up. I appreciate you having me on again. Thank you to everyone who's watched and
Thank you.
dropped comments. Sorry, these conversations, I fall into a conversation, so trying to read the comments. I'm sorry if I didn't hit all of them, but appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching. And yeah, hope you guys have a great day.
Great. Take care, sir. Have a great day
Peace,
and see you
guys.
soon.
Later.
So yeah, guys, that was John Trottier and the man, the brains behind such great silhouettes. I hope you all enjoyed it, and we're just trying to bring in a couple of more uh, pioneers, these people who have been doing some great work in this industry. And first of all, thank you so very much for all the support because, to be very honest, nothing could have been possible. We literally, like, for a lot of people, who are over here, they know this thing. We literally started off with nothing, and now getting a chance to connect with people like him, it's just a crazy feeling. So thank you so much, and let's meet the very next time when we have another crazy guest over here with us. So yeah, cheers guys, take care, and for us, good night.